Hi guys, Ken Chigbo, aka KenFX Freak, back with another week roundup and look ahead. Last week, look, I've just got the dollar weekly, you can see here, closing the green. Okay, the first positive closure this month for October, okay, after two consecutive losses here. Now, previously, just as a quick recap, we were to the downside because of this, optimism around this fiscal stimulus bill. And then markets started to think Joe Biden's going to be good for the economy because he'd be pumping, essentially doing a lot of spending, fiscal stimulus, and then also he wouldn't be pursuing tariffs with China. But then this week, why are we seeing a change in sentiment? Guys, I said this last week just to my community, how, look, be aware, we've got to see a wave of big wave of dollar flows coming into play at some point, because at the moment, and I was talking about this very early last week, the markets were sort of out of touch with reality. Reality that COVID cases were rising drastically. Why are we ignoring this? We're seeing parts of the UK go into lockdown. We're seeing France, key cities, Paris going into lockdown. These economic restrictions, they're going to have an impact. They're going to. You can't ignore the fact that they're going to, with all these new economic restrictions, we're going to produce less output for these major economies. So, of course, we've got to actually see those safe haven flows coming back into play. Sorry, I get a bit excited. JPY, dollar. We saw it. So this was this dollar staging a rebound there. Exactly that. We sort of, as a structure here, we had a bullish flag, breakout, retest, making way further upside. You got another one there on the 4 hour. Euro started to come under some pressure. We lost ground up in that 118 region. We broke out of a flag structure we had marked up here. Consolidating, another breakout. Consolidating, subject to another potential breakout to the downside. At the end of the day, COVID's rising drastically across the region in the Eurozone. The ECB, the central bank, are going to have to be forced to act soon. So this dovish, Euro negative. There's something else that I wanted to mention on the Euro front. It slipped my mind, but let's continue to move on. Gold prices are at risk as well with that upside that we've seen in dollar. I've got this running trend line here. A potential left shoulder, head, right shoulder maybe. Consolidating, narrowing within a flag structure again here. GBP, man, has this been an absolute beast? Now, okay, so just to break this down for you, on a Brexit front, it's all over the place. Boris Johnson on Friday said that, look, the ending talks, that is it, because there's a lack of progress, but it's just all politics. Yap. GBP went through a wave on Friday alone, we dropped around 100 pips initially after being up. And it's just a roller coaster. The whole of last week is a roller coaster. I sort of recommend staying away from GBP just until things become clear. But GBP is going to be in for a bit more volatility because these talks aren't ending there. They're going to resume. They're continuing this week, by the way, guys. Potential, I bet it's a bit of a push, me saying this is the left shoulder, head, right shoulder. But anyway, we're narrowing, subject to further breakout to the downside. We had broken out of this flag, as you can see on the daily. There, flag, breakout, retest. And the door is open for further downside, similar to JPY, really. Again, there's this flag, breakout, retest, making way further downside. Our community caught a nice move on this, about 100 pips. Now subject to some further narrowing, similar to GU there, at risk of breakout. AUD's a really interesting one, by the way, guys, because RBA Governor Lowe, remember that RBA, the Central Bank of Australia, did not act in October this month. Expectations have been pushed that they act in November. And RBA Governor Lowe was dovish this week, or last week rather. He's basically largely hinted that the RBA are in a position to cut rates further and also more bond buying. Dovish, AUD negative. Bit of narrowing here. We broke out this flag structure, a bit of further narrowing than potential pennant. Downside still viewable. Same with NZD. I don't know why NZD's been elevated for quite some time, because the RBNZ have been talking about negative interest rates for quite some time. But the market's been ignoring that. But perhaps we start to take our toll now as these safe haven flows come into play anyway. So that there. US 30, we had this as a sort of ascending channel structure. We broke out, retested. Big rejection there on Friday, making way further downside. In the day, there's been a bit of a negative for stocks. COVID cases have been paused. Two big ones, Eli Lilly and Johnson & Johnson, pharmaceutical firms in the States, had their COVID studies paused, which harms risk appetite, which harms that risk sentiment. And then, of course, the lack of fiscal stimulus. Not good either. So I think this week we want to be keeping an eye on those themes. What's going on with fiscal stimulus bill with the US? What's going on with COVID? Are we seeing more restrictions economically? Are more newspapers and more press continue to talk about that? Because that would be a dominating theme. And then Brexit. Look, if you want to trade GBP, by all means, but please, please, please be careful. We stay on top of all those developments at freaknetwork.io. Guys, check out our membership. And if you want to become part of our community, trade with us. We cover fundamental and technical analysis every single day. BluFX, please do not hesitate to check out their solution. It is amazing. If you do want to perfect your skills as a trader, really does help nurture, just because there's very good risk management protocols in place there that are going to be good for you in the long run if you do want longevity in this trading game. So do check out BluFX solution, one of the best. It is the Coca-Cola in terms of funded programs out there. Stay lit, baby. Let's get it.